To change your outcome, you've got to be willing to change what you're doing. You must be willing to improve upon what your status quo is at the moment if you want and expect to change the outcomes you're getting. For example, I have a client who for over 10 years was drinking to help him cope with the stress. He was overeating, again, to help him cope with stress. He was working very long hours, trying to get as much work done as possible because the next day after a night out of drinking, he was so exhausted that he couldn't get going again. So he was relying on alcohol to help him sleep and switch off. But then that meant the next day was even harder to get back into work. Very vicious cycle. He did the same thing for over a decade. And it was only because he reached a breaking point, a tipping point, where he decided, I have been doing the same things and I have been getting the same outcomes. I must change my input to get my output to change. He realized that in order for him to change the results, he had to improve who he was. He had to improve his behaviors, his habits, and his mindset. So when I speak to people who aren't happy with where they're at, they're not happy with the outcomes they're getting, with the results they're getting from their behaviors and their habits and their lifestyle, it's really important that they understand that they have to want to improve what they're currently doing and who they currently are to be able to improve the outcomes and the results. Not changing who you are, not changing what you're doing, will mean that you don't change the outcomes and you don't change the results. So if you're serious about creating change with your health and well-being, first of all, ensure that you're willing to change who you are and what you're doing. Have you been willing to improve who you are to get different results and to get better outcomes? I'd love to know in the comments below how you managed to do it, or if you're struggling, send me a direct message and I'd be happy to see if I can help.